transition to the other sport, the Dallas Mavericks, starting up their new season, and it is a white boy, not Luka Doncic, leading this team, Cooper Flagg, in his rookie season from Duke. Man, oh man, oh man. I think me and Joe here have kind of been a little bit on different sides about our excitement for this new season. I know that Joe, he was telling me before this podcast that he's ready. He's ready. We filmed this podcast on a Wednesday, so unfortunately we don't know. We were filming this before the Spurs game, so we don't know how the first game goes. But Joe, I mean, I just don't think that this is an exciting season for the Dallas Mavericks. I think that this season could be very difficult. I think that injuries is still in existence. But what do you think this new season, that's
I, f-
bestowed upon us? How do you think that it's going? How do you
I
think it'll
feel
go?
I feel like this off season is just the only reason I'm saying I'm hyped because when I watched last night, like the Lakers, as we're recording this, what was last night? The Lakers and the Warriors. I was all mad again. Somehow I fell into the trap of being mad again watching Luka Doncic drop a
I can't
40
believe you're able to
burger.
do that.
My goodness, it's hard to watch. It really is hard to watch. And I have to do it for what, another decade of this guy playing in the purple and gold. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the reason that it's just a fresh start for this Mavs team. And it's been a crazy start to 2025 for the Dallas Mavericks. We've been through this a lot of times. It just sucks that it felt like they turned their backs on the fan base with leadership like this and the ownership. Um, and what Nico Harrison did to this team, trading off a guy in the middle of the night when it was literally just us working in our dorms, and basically we just see the tweet from Shams Charania that Luka was off, and we all thought it was fake. We all thought it was a joke. So I think
Well,
that this new beginning of the season, people are starting off fresh. I know Kyrie's hurt, but I want to see how AD looks fresh. And it's been up and down with the reports of how he's looked and him possibly not having good vision with his eye injury, and just seeing how Klay Thompson looks in another year of his career as he's starting to creep up there in age. I just hope Cooper Flag can be serviceable enough and doesn't have enough of a rookie struggle because I don't expect him to come out the gate swinging. I really don't. I don't want to put the pressure on the guy like that. He's still just very young and he'll have the keys to this organization. And that's what I'm looking forward to. A historic rivalry that's kind of being reborn again with two young phenoms, guys like Victor Wembanyama and and a Cooper Flag here. So I'm excited to see the rivalry kind of be reborn here. And it should be a fun season. I don't think this team is going to be a 60-win team. I know you sure don't think they're going to be a 60-win team, but I'm just excited to see another
far
year of
from it.
Mavs basketball.
I wish that I could see the sun rise again with this team. Unfortunately, it's still dark as hell. No light for me right now with this team. Just all that we've been through, all that we've
Whew,
been through.
my
And you
goodness.
talk about how rough. This is where I get a little 50-50 on them because considering how rough last season was for the Mavericks, probably the worst experience for a sports franchise an entire year or entire season and you know in a long time that we've seen. I mean, you're talking about a team almost being required to forfeit games because they
Whew,
were so hurt after this Luka trade and so diminished. Never heard of that. Never heard of that. I've seen the
insanity.
Lakers play the Cavs where they had four players eligible and they had to keep another player on that had already fouled out. They didn't have to forfeit that game. But the Mavericks, they were in such dire position that they had to almost forfeit games, which is insane. And you know what? That team still went 39 and 43.
It's insane.
Still almost made the playoffs.
It's wild.
And I would say what? You probably only got like 20 games of Luka Doncic in that game, in that season. Because he got hurt at Christmas time on the Christmas game, never played again. He probably had a few games that he was out beforehand between mid-October and late December. So I'd say you probably had him for about 20 of the 25 games, probably about 25 games. Not a lot for the season. And all those injuries still went 39 and 43. And this team is basically the same, from the end of the season when they finally start to get healthy, you know that they can compete, but can they stay healthy? And to me, that's no doubt in my mind they're not going to be able to stay healthy. They're
We know they
going to
won't.
have problems with health.
They won't.
And,
Yeah.
another thing that, people are tending to forget is that Kyrie Irving is what, 34 years old?
Yeah, he's up there. I think
He's
he's
up there
34.
now. And his whole game requires explosivity. He is an explosive player. That's how he plays. That's how he makes his money in the NBA. A torn ACL is one of the, if not the worst thing that can happen to a player of Kyrie's play style. And even if he was to return for the season, do we really think with his age and that injury compared to his play style, is he really going to be that effective going into the playoffs or going into next season? I hate to be pessimistic. It's the same thing with DeMar Overshown to me, but is Kyrie Irving ever going to be the same?
It's such a joke to me because it's like, of course, him and AD would get hurt right after they ship off Luca. In a trade that nobody expected, of course, the two guys we were leaning on before we even thought that we could get the number one overall
Do
pick.
we do we really think that Kyrie and Anthony Davis duo was gonna stay on the court together? Do we ever think that?
I mean, it's just so crazy because the way they were looking when AD's first game, it's like, man, maybe I can go over this. And then AD goes down. A guy who hadn't been hurt in really like a year and a half at the time, who we already knew was like had injury issues in the past. We're like, okay, fine, fine. You talked me into it, Lakers fans. He'll be all right. He's a really good player. As we sent off our franchise generational European player that we thought could, hold on to it and be one of our own, one of our next greats. Yeah, he gets hurt, by the way. And then Kyrie gets hurt too, right behind him. It's a joke, dude. And that's why I'm really hoping Cooper Flag doesn't have a lot of pressure put on him because he's a young guy, man. He shouldn't have to deal with this pressure that he's been, you know, that's been put on him since joining this organization that has just been kind of backstabbing its fans this whole year. He shouldn't have to deal with that. So I just hope that he can look good enough this year, especially in this first half, because people are going to be looking all at him this year to see if he's really worth that hype that he's been hyped around for like the past 2 or 3 years now. The guy has been talked about since he was 15 years old. I look forward to seeing what he could do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for Cooper Flag too, but I'm excited for this defense. I'm excited for, I talked about this before as well, but it's just insane, insane to think about the fact that the Mavericks, it's the same with the Rangers with the pitching. They've always been an offensive team throughout their entire franchise. They've never had a dominant pitching staff. They finally have it. That's incredible. I never thought to see the day that the Rangers would have an incredible pitching staff, not alone the best pitching staff in the league this season. The Mavericks, one thing that they've always never had is a center. They they have never been a rebounding team. I mean, they had what, James Donaldson in the 80s, nobody in the 90s, Tyson Chandler for 2 years, DeAndre Jordan for half a season. Eric Dampier was their starting center for a majority of Dirk's years, basically, or whoever. Desjana Diop or whatever was the
They'll
starting center for majority of Dirk's young years, and now we have three really good centers. And of
My
course, one's
goodness.
already injured. The next two are probably going to get injured soon, knock on wood. But
Damn.
Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, and Anthony Davis, it's insane. I've
It's
never
insane.
seen
Yeah.
anything like this for the Mavericks, this play style. Never, ever in my life. And never in their franchise have they been this stacked at center. And I would say this is probably the best center rotation in NBA history.
Oh, wow.
I mean, what if they are all
It's up
healthy?
there.
That
Yeah.
is an insane lineup of three people. We know what Derek Lively can do. He's dominant defensive rim protector, can also really feed off of lobs, be a good offensive player, good rebounder. Anthony Davis, of course, is an MVP type player when he's healthy. Daniel Gafford, I mean, just a scoring machine, offensive rebound, great offensive rebounder, another great rim protector. This is the best center rotation in NBA history, in my opinion.
Eesh. It's up
But
there.
one thing that they don't have is they don't have three-point shooting. They don't have perimeter defense, and that's going to be their main weakest links to this team. And for that, I say that they go probably like you know, bearing injuries, I think they go probably around 43-39 for the season. I don't think that they go anything higher than 45 wins. I think that that's their ceiling. Floor, I would say like 38-44. I just see them being right at 500 this season.
I pretty much
I'm
have
so
like the
50-50.
yeah, I pretty much have almost the exact same. I'm gonna say like 41 wins. I haven't been a 500 team. I think that's pretty fair. Um, what?
So what? We hate I hate the Mavs.
I'm
You
just
like the
saying,
Mavs. We have the same record. What is this? I was expecting you to go
I'm
like
just saying
50.
I'm hype. I'm just saying I'm hype. But I do think that the thing is, the first half's gonna be just lackluster. I think it'll be a rough first half. Second half, I'm making that they get hot. I
That's
believe
the
in
Mavericks
Kyrie still.
way.
I believe in Kyrie Irving. I know you're saying who knows what he can look like coming back from an injury
That's
at the
good you
age of
believe in him.
33 or 34. I think he'll be fine. Um, I'm just worried about the three-point shooting, like you were saying, because Klay Thompson's getting up there. I think he can be your consistent guy, but there's sometimes where he's putting up some bricks, man. He's building neighborhoods out there sometimes.
You light my fire.
Same with D'Angelo Russell. Like I love him, but there's some times where he's building neighborhoods out here. So PJ, streaky shooter as well.
Oh,
I
very
don't know.
streaky.
I don't know how it's gonna look this year with the guys who are gonna be the primary ball handlers in the first half of the year before Kyrie gets here. Just so many questions left for this team to answer. I think 41 wins is reasonable for now, and they can just let it ride from there. Who knows where they'll
Putting
place.
Max Christie to be one of a guy who's, 3-point contest eligible type player right here. Max Christie, man, you got to step up.
Need you, man.
Step
Young
up.
guy,
We need
young
you.
cat,
We need you coming off this bench, man, for that shooting.
for sure.
And, it got a lot of weight on Max Christie's shoulders coming into this, after the trade. He delivered, kind of quieted out at the end of the season, but I think that he's going to be a big part of this season. I hope that he can build off that season. He's still very young. What was he, 23, something like that?
Hmm.
So I believe that he'll be very good, but I just can't get too bought into this team. I still feel this knife in the back of me. I still feel it. Haven't gotten it out yet. Still trying to grab it,
Wow.
but it might be a while. But
Sheesh.
anyways,
Jeez.